Are you a hardworking business owner striving for success online? There is help. Welcome to the School of Internet Marketing podcast, featuring candid conversations and inspiring stories of online success. Now here's your host.
Yes, this is James Martell, founder of the School of Internet Marketing, and today I'm your host, and I'll be speaking with Ryan Carmody, founder of HealthySmoothieHQ.com. And we'll be talking about opt-in offers. We'll also talk about building website traffic and how Ryan fully doubled his email opt-in rate by employing just one simple little tool. Now, before Ryan joins us, just a reminder to our listeners that if you have questions at any time, visit us on Facebook at facebook.com/GoGreatMinds. Ryan Carmody, with a love for making the most nutritious and delicious smoothies ever, founded Healthy Smoothie HQ in 2011, and he's currently finishing up his studies to become a certified health coach through the Institute for Integrative Nutrition. Ryan, thanks for joining me.
Hi, James. Thanks for having me on the show. It's great to be here.
Yeah, it's great to have you on as well. I know you and I have chatted a lot over the years, and we spend 30 minutes on the phone each week in one of our coaching programs, and it's always great to have you. And I thought it would be nice to get you on the line to talk about the increases in your email opt-in rate and what you've done to develop an email opt-in offer. I do know listeners are always looking for ways to increase their website traffic, to build better relationships with their visitors and their audience, and to, of course, bring new visitors and new prospects to them and through the doors if they happen to have a brick-and-mortar business, or if they're purely online, they're always looking to increase not only sales but also conversion rates. And we do know email is just a great way to do that, and I'm excited about talking to you about how you went about doing it. Before we do that, though, let's talk about your site. Would you mind giving us some background on yourself and tell us the story behind HealthySmoothieHQ.com?
Sure. I guess it was about 5 years ago, I became a full-blown health nut. And one of the things that I incorporated into my lifestyle, my daily diet was smoothies. And I got to the point where I was making a healthy smoothie, as I like to call them, because there is a pretty big difference between some of the smoothies that are out there today from, say, a fast food joint, between what you can whip up in your own kitchen. And I found that the smoothie was really a great vehicle for me to transform my health. So it was an easy way for me to incorporate more fruits and vegetables into my diet, and then eventually started to incorporate in different protein powders and superfoods and a whole array of herbs and spices and just really healthy foods. So over the years, I really kind of crafted my smoothie skills, if you will, and I got to the point where I had a lot of people asking me about what I was doing in my blender, and I thought that this was a perfect opportunity for me to kind of do a brain dump through my Healthy Smoothie HQ site, as well as ultimately make some money on the side and delve into this world of affiliate marketing that I had been kind of standing on the sidelines of for quite a while. So that's kind of the history behind the site. I've had it. It's almost been up for about 2 years now, and it's really just been a lot of fun posting content, posting the recipes that I find are healthy and delicious, and also connecting with like-minded people and others that are really looking to improve their health.
You've had some remarkable success in the area of traffic building over the last couple of years, starting from, of course, zero, where all webmasters start when they launch a brand new site, to, if you wouldn't mind, would you mind sharing some of your visitor stats where you're sitting today?
Sure. So I typically get between 1,700 and 2,300 visitors a day. And earlier in the week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, that's typically when I get when the traffic's a little bit higher, and I think that's kind of a general trend.
So that would put you up around the neighborhood of around 60,000 visitors per month. And I do know to some listeners, especially those who are just getting started that don't see anywhere near that kind of traffic, that is a very, very impressive statistic. And you mentioned to me before we got on the call that you recalled a conversation on probably another podcast, I would think, where we were talking with Ryan Ellis, who was the founder of iContact, and I said was the founder because he's recently sold his interest in the email marketing giant that he built at the ripe old age of 27 for some $159 million. But he was a great interview, and he talked about visitors to a website and the importance of developing an opt-in offer. And that's one of the reasons I wanted to get you on, because I do know this is one of these areas where people have a tendency to push this off. Hey, I'll get to my opt-in list a little bit later. Hey, I've got other things I'm working on right now. I'll work on my email marketing shortly. And they never quite get to it, or I feel they push it off a little bit too long. But what Ryan said to me in that interview, he says, James, and this is a guy that manages over 50,000 email marketing accounts for business owners. That's what his company does even currently today at iContact.com. He said, James, a full 70% of the people who visit your site today, if you don't get them opted into your email list, you will never see them again. And when I heard that stat, that was a stunner to me, because as you can imagine, Ryan, if you didn't have your opt-in offer hooked up, and you weren't gathering in subscribers today and tomorrow and next week and next month, that would be 70% opportunity lost ongoing. And I look at a lot of websites out on the internet, and it pains me to see how few people take this really serious. Because if you're losing 70% of the traffic that you have every day, can you imagine what would the opportunity loss for that be?
Oh, that would be huge. You would really be missing out on a lot of potential, relationships and sales by doing what I consider to be the most important thing after actually putting up your website, is having an email opt-in offer.
Now, you mentioned 1,700 to 23 unique visitors a day. Now, of course, many of those visitors come back when you send out your email newsletter, a good percentage of them. And we could talk some numbers in a few minutes, but when did you, give us a little history in the actual opt-in offer list. When did you start it? How long did it take you to get your first subscribers? And I guess 2 years later, where are you? How many subscribers do you have currently?
Sure. So I really did add my email opt-in offer within about a week of when I launched the site. And of course, the first couple were my mom, my dad, I think my brother and sister, like everybody who starts an email newsletter. And I didn't have much traffic to the site, so they were trickling in. I mean, I remember when I would get a couple a week, and those emails would come in, and I'd get excited, like, oh, almost as if you're making an affiliate sale. And slowly but surely, as the traffic began to increase, and as I began to, I guess, tweak that email opt-in offer, and then employ one of the key plugins, which I believe we'll be talking a little bit more about in a second, Hybrid Connect. Now I'm getting anywhere from 40 to 50 on a good day subscribers, and I'm up to about 3,908. I think was what it was when I checked about an hour ago.
That's interesting that you know the exact number, because a lot of people don't seem to track that. And when you say 40 to 50 new subscribers per day, let's do a little bit of math on that. Let's say it was just let's go with the low end number here. Let me grab my calculator, and assuming that rate stays the same, you take 40 times 365 days. In a year, that's 14,600 subscribers. You factor that out over 3 years, now you're up to around 43,800 subscribers. And I do know business owners sometimes wonder, how in the world am I going to make any money? Whether they're an affiliate marketer such as yourself or myself, or they're a brick and mortar business, maybe they own a pub, a restaurant, or a chiropractor, or maybe they're a veterinarian. This idea of building up the list, and you said it so well, it started out as a very small little trickle, mom and dad and some people that know you, and then a couple a week. And then it grew and started to grow, and then you started to even pay more attention to it, and then you started to make some adjustments to it. Now, you mentioned a plugin, and listeners can go check this out at www.hybridconnect360.com, and I'd highly recommend you make a note of that domain name, because what Ryan's going to share with us next is how he actually doubled his opt-in rate just by employing that little plugin. In this particular case, it's a WordPress plugin, and I do know most people these days seem to build their sites in WordPress. Some 70 million websites online have been constructed with, of course, WordPress. But tell us a little bit about the opt-in offer, how that evolved, because initially initially I don't know if you had an opt-in offer, and tell us about what your opt-in offer is, and then where it is today.
Sure, you're right. Initially, I didn't have any sort of opt-in offer. It was really just a little form there to enter your email address and name and click submit. And it probably about 2 or 3 months after I launched the site, I realized that just wasn't going to cut it. And I'm sure that you've noticed a lot of other successful sites out there have some sort of we'll call it a bait, an email opt-in bait. So something that is enticing to get the user to actually sign up. So I put together a short, about 15-20 recipe ebook that also contains some other general smoothie making tips and tricks and information. And when I put that in place, I saw my opt-ins. It's been a couple of years, so I don't know exactly, but they definitely picked up considerably. And then what really made a huge difference was when you introduced me to Hybrid Connect. I think that might even have been one of our first coaching calls a couple months ago. And when I employed that WordPress plugin, my opt-in rate went it doubled pretty much overnight. And what I really liked about Hybrid Connect is that it's really not that intrusive. Whereas a lot of these other pop-ups that try to get you to opt in, are popping up every time you come to the site, and it's a bit much. Whereas with Hybrid Connect, it really allows you to customize, how often that's going to pop up, and it's also very easy to customize the actual offer and the text and the graphics there to entice the person to subscribe to your newsletter.
And you've done a great job with it. If I may give your domain name again, it's healthysmoothie.hq.com. And when you get to the site, you will see that prior to the pop-up, in the right-hand column at the top, he's got a nice opt-in offer. Get your free Healthy Smoothie ebook here. And I would recommend to listeners to subscribe to it, because we all could be a little healthier, and get a copy of that. But you'll also notice that with the Hybrid Connect plugin, when it pops up, what happens is it's what I like to call a smart plugin, and I think we've all been a smart pop-up. We've all been annoyed enough by pop-ups in the past, and I'm one that's not too. I'm not a big fan of them. Let's put it that way. But this one is smart. And I'll give you another example. You shared some great stats over at centralpark.com. I did some coaching with Eric Boyle. He's the owner of centralpark.com. Same idea. He's got a beautiful little pop-up on the site. Again, it's a smart pop-up. It increased his email opt-in rate by 2,100%. And just by adding it to the site, because he had he had an email list down at the bottom. Hardly anybody subscribed to him. It took him 8 years to grow it to 8,000 subscribers. He put the opt-in offer pop-up on the homepage of the website, and he increased his email list by 20% in 1 month, what it took him 8 years to build. So definitely worthwhile to employ these type of technology. But now with hybridconnect360.com, if you would explain what people see when they hit the page, let's start with Facebook, if they happen to be logged into Facebook.
If they happen to be logged into Facebook, then it's an easy one click to opt into my newsletter. So it's literally that easy. You click one button and you're opted in. You don't have to enter your name or email address or anything.
Yeah, so I'm looking at the pop-in right now. The pop-up. It's got get your free Healthy Smoothie ebook. Enter your name and email address below to get free instant access to my simple Healthy Smoothie recipe book. You've also done something else very smart here. Is you spent a little money to have a beautiful cover created for your ebook. Of course, we want to make sure we all have our marketing caps on here, because the more attractive it is, the more likely the visitor will opt in. And then right below it says click the button below for free instant access. And because I happen to be logged into Facebook, and I read some stats lately that at any one time, there's somewhere in the neighborhood of 500 million people logged into Facebook, isn't that amazing, right? That's staggering.
That really is, isn't it?
Now, because I am logged in, it doesn't show me the usual enter your name and email address boxes. What it does is just got a blue Facebook logo that says Easy Facebook Sign Up. I just click on that. It automatically pulls my email address and my name from Facebook and opts me into your list without me having to type anything in. So again, that increases conversion rate. So it's such a great little pop-up. How easy did you find? I'm flipping the words pop-up and plugin. It's a great looking plugin, a very nice very nice looking pop-up, a very nice, easy to use plugin. How's that? How have you found it? How have you found getting it set up?
I found that the setup was actually really easy. They have a great, we'll call it administrative back end where you go in and configure the pop-up to your liking. The only thing that took a little bit of time to configure was the little graphic of my ebook. So I did have to go back and get that, the size of that shrunk down a little bit and have it, I think it's transparent so that it shows up in the pop-up, real nice and neat. But other than that, the customization was really, walk in the park. I don't know, 10, 15 minutes is probably all it took.
And that's a great thing to point out, that sometimes we have to go back to the graphic designers. And I do know sometimes that derails a website owner because they don't have time, but it's worth taking the time, isn't it? It's worth really taking that extra day or so to wait for the designer to send back the cover in a format that's worthwhile, just to get that increase.
Absolutely. I agree completely.
So now, before we wrap this up, let's just talk about your newsletter and your autoresponder follow-up series. A couple of very important components to a great email marketing campaign. Let's start off with your autoresponder series. So when somebody comes along, they subscribe. I would imagine you have them double opt-in, which means an email will be sent to them to confirm that they wanted to subscribe. And then what happens is they receive the ebook that you promised them. But that also triggers, doesn't it? It triggers a series of ongoing emails. And in your case, I think you mentioned you've got 20 or 25 of them?
That's correct. I have about 25 right now.
So what are you including in those emails? And this is called an autoresponder series, and they do go out automatically. So what do you include in them, and how often do you send them out?
Sure. So I have them set up to go out every week, so every 7 days. And, obviously there's smoothie recipes included in many of those emails, but I cover a variety of topics. So for example, my top 5 time-saving smoothie tips, or the ultimate energizer smoothie, the ultimate guide to losing weight with smoothie, crazy for coconuts and coconut oil. So I also cover a lot of some of the key ingredients, or, superfoods, if you will, that go into making truly healthy smoothies. And also, I do have one little tip to give out that I think can be really beneficial is after I send out so after you opt in and you get my initial newsletter with the ebook, at the very bottom of that email, I ask specifically if you have any questions about making smoothies, or maybe health related that are related to smoothies. And what I found is I get tremendous feedback from people that they really are giving and what they're actually looking for. And it allows me to, better cater to my audience, by knowing exactly what they're looking for.
Amazing what happens when you ask them what they're interested in looking for. They do tell you.
Sure, they sure do. So yep, I have that 25 series autoresponder, and then I also send out email blasts. I try to do at least one a month, and it's typically with the more recent smoothie recipes that I posted on my site, as well as any other maybe information that I've come across, my coaching studies, or just out reading all the different health sites that I do that I think would be beneficial to my readers.
So now tell me, if you could, let's wrap this up. If you wouldn't mind, offer up a little bit of encouragement to somebody who've got a site. It's up, it's running, it's looking good. Maybe they're a veterinarian. I was just on a great little vet site. It was called whiterockvet.net. I thought that's a little catchy name, considering we live in White Rock. Let's say anybody that has a brand new site, or a site that's been sitting around for a while, and the site's doing well, it's okay, but they don't have an opt-in list, or they don't have an email strategy at all, or maybe they have one on the page like you said, but it's just simply subscribe to our newsletter, and all it's asking for is their first and last name, and they don't have any incentive. Give us a little to-do list of things that you would recommend people do to get engaged and to basically follow in your steps.
Sure. So obviously, number one, if you don't have an opt-in at all, that's completely 100%, the first thing that you want to do. After that, I think what you can do is brainstorm some sort of a link bait. So in many cases, you'll see, and I'm sorry, not link bait, but opt-in bait. I'm thinking SEO. Think of something that your readers can really benefit from, that you could package up into a little ebook, or maybe even a little free report which really is essentially just a document. Or even I've also seen people that do maybe a five series email newsletter. So every week you'll get an email on a specific topic, and you can use that to entice the person to subscribe. People are not going to just give out their name and email address unless they're going to get something back in return. So I think that's really the number one thing you want to do. Obviously, get the form up, get some sort of link bait on there, and then you can look at using Hybrid Connect or some of the other techniques that James has taught me to improve your opt-in rate.
I had a chance to interview, in the last episode, is a gentleman named Alec Beglarian. He's out of Los Angeles, and he's basically an email marketing service provider, which he calls it's the easiest do-it-yourself email software on the web. And it's redcappy.com, just to give him a little plug. But he had a lot of great tips as well to share as far as organizing and putting together an email list. And I would definitely recommend to listeners to pop back in the most recent episode, just prior to Ryan here, to have a listen to what Alec had to say. Which I believe you use probably Aweber or MailChimp. Which service provider do you use?
I do use Aweber.
I actually have an account with Aweber and MailChimp. And if I may give a plug for Redcappy, it's a little bit of a different animal than Aweber. Aweber is more of I don't know if you'd call it enterprise level. It's a little bit more technically challenging to set it up. Now, you've probably mastered it after some time, and I have probably as well. But with Redcappy, it is amazingly simple. So if you happen to be out looking, you may want to check out Aweber, check out Redcappy, and MailChimp. There's 3 email marketing service providers for those of you who are interested in taking up Ryan on his advice on getting started. On a scale of 1 to 10, of all the things a business owner, Ryan, is working on with regards to developing their online presence, with 1 being probably not important to number 10 being absolutely critical and urgent, where would you rate setting up an email list?
I'd put it right there at a 10. It's that important. It's one of those things you just got to do.
I would agree. Let's finish off with one final question, if I may. You've done a great job on getting your opt-in offer, or beginning with a simple email list, collecting name and email address, no offer. Then you developed the recipe book for smoothies as an incentive for those to subscribe. Then you graduated on a little bit to adding a smart pop-up with hybridconnect360.com. And then you've got some additional plans that you're considering. I know we chatted about before the show, to also even further increase opt-in rates. Would you care to share those? Sure.
So video is definitely something that I need to leverage, and by doing that, I'm almost positive that I'll be able to increase my opt-in rate by that much more. So by using a short video on my homepage and potentially repositioning that opt-in so that it's a little more prominent, by doing those 2 things, I'm sure I can take my opt-in rate percentage up another few notches.
Yeah, I'm sure absolutely you can. I do know I've been using video for exactly that for years, even on my own personal site, jamesmartell.com. In fact, I just completely revamped it. It's about 98% finished, and I've always been a big fan of adding in a video up front, not too long, maybe a minute, maybe 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes, somewhere in that neighborhood, to really kind of give that presentation as well to, in your particular case, I would imagine with smoothies, just showing them the fresh fruits and the vegetables, and because it's a video, you could probably even, demonstrate something really quickly and then show them, print a copy of the actual book and have a hard copy, and you could show it to them on the video. It's not surprising at all to see opt-in rates increase, and get into the area of 10 and 15%. So that's a great idea you've got to move in the direction of also adding a video. So Ryan, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you, James. My pleasure.
Thank you for listening. To learn more about the School of Internet Marketing and to get access to all exclusive courses and interviews, visit theschoolofinternetmarketing.com. That's www.theschoolofinternetmarketing.com.